What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smart Minds, Good Times. Today I have a very special guest. Introduce yourself.
My name is Jamel Mcduffie, also known as Kid Rage.
Kid Rage. So you do film directing and you have a clothing brand, right?
Yes.
What started first, the clothing brand or the directing?
I would say directing.
Directing.
Started first. So when I was about 16, that's when I started Kid Rage. It was more so just videography and photography. And I sort of, over time, sort of branched over probably maybe like a year and a half ago to where I just want to focus more so on cinematography.
Okay.
So that like sort of consists of music videos, short films, things of that nature.
Was Set It Off your first music video?
No, I actually done music videos that I don't even have on my page anymore.
Okay.
Probably maybe 3 years ago now.
Okay.
Yeah.
How'd you get into like editing, like video editing? Is it something you always wanted to do? Or?
Yeah, so when I was, of course I was playing basketball, but during that time, like when I was like about 15, I always sort of been into it. Like even when I was editing my own pictures, I used to like make little Instagram posts, and they'd be like how I edit myself within those, and that started when I was about 14, 15. And then from there, I think that when COVID came around, I had a lot of spare time, so I was working out probably like 2 to 3 times a day for basketball, but I had a lot of spare time in between. So if I went with my friends or hanging out with people, then I was probably editing or learning that. So
you know, COVID was a good time for people that took advantage of it. Were able to do good things. Like it was kind of up to you how you wanted to use your time.
Yeah, exactly.
Because in reality, there was no excuses. You had a lot of free time. I picked up a lot of skills. I mean, you go to editing school, videography school, right?
I went to film school.
Film school.
Yeah,
how was that?
It was pretty cool, man. I learned a lot. I learned a lot of the fundamentals. Like I feel like for me, creativity hasn't really been too much of an issue. Like something that I'm fortunate that I haven't come to is creative block or writer's block or things of that nature.
Okay.
I haven't really experienced that much.
Like where you zone out, run out of ideas?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't really experience that much. But as far as the fundamentals to curating a good film and things of that nature, like it really showed me that, and I was able to take in a lot from that.
You have like, what do you think like your perspective on directing is? Because directing, you have to have like a kind of like a third eye, right? Because you have to kind of get a point of view of people behind the screen that are gonna be watching it. Is that something that came natural to you, or is it like a lot of stress?
It sort of comes natural, but however, I'm just a student of it. Like I naturally I'm always been keen to visually creative things. Since I was about 14, 15 years old. So I found myself analyzing the studying music videos. Like before I came here, I studied a music video.
Really?
I enjoy watching it, but as I'm looking at it, I'm looking at everything. I'm looking at the color palettes. I'm looking at the way that the shot was sort of taken. I'm looking at the compositions, everything.
Yeah.
So
because it's an art, you gotta have to keep people engaged, but you also have to think about like human nature. Certain colors and certain like things on the screen it won't be easy on the eyes. I guess
exactly.
It won't catch as much attention. I saw the new music video for Greg Pop.
What you think?
I liked it. Because I brought on Jalen before the music video had came out, but it had already been done. And he had told me, "Oh, you guys are gonna like it."
Yeah,
I liked it. I liked it. You know, you dropped the behind the scenes yesterday, right?
Yeah, I did.
I was at cameraman's house yesterday. We were watching the behind the scenes on the TV. So like, what do you think was like kind of like the biggest challenge y'all had besides y'all not being able to keep a serious face?
Bro, that was the biggest challenge. Like for me, versus Set It Off at least, like where Set It Off, I was with a team that was my friends that I met from film school. Okay. So we were all really focused and had like an idea of how the continuity of the video should go.
Y'all were locked in.
We were locked in for the most part. We enjoyed it though. We had fun. We had laughs. We was like, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we're all sort of used to showbiz, if that's the term you want to use for it. However, I'm working with my friends here. Like, these are my friends.
Yeah, they're going to
most of them not used to showbiz or used to, there's only maybe like 4 people that sort of understood. But at the same time, it was hot. We was all sort of like, it was so many pockets in time where it took longer than it was supposed to.
Okay, how long do you think it took?
If we got there at 12, I got there at 11:30.
Okay, yeah.
I always get there 30 minutes early. I think I didn't leave till about 4.
You know, that's not even that bad.
It's not.
It's not because...
However, for the shots that we did, we could have been done at 3. We could have been done an hour earlier.
Okay, but I mean, y'all had drone shots, and then y'all had it like... Hold on, I got a question. Were y'all actually playing basketball, or did it come to a point where y'all just like... I think y'all faked a few scenes.
Yeah.
But they didn't look fake like that, but...
Yeah, I mean, it was... We all play basketball. So it was easy to not... For it to be cohesive and into, you know what I'm saying, not looking fake. But they were staged for sure.
Was that
to an extent?
Okay, that wasn't at Rockwood Park, was it?
No, that was at Broad Rock Park.
Okay.
In Richmond.
Okay.
Because I'm from Richmond, like I'm from Southside, so I know I wanted to use a court like that. That was more newer and more, I guess you could say, it felt like home. Yeah, that's where I'm from. So it made sense.
And like the light blue court made it pop. It wasn't like a dull concrete court. It was good.
Yeah, for sure.
How long did you plan for like that music video? Like, did you already have everything like planned out how you wanted to do it and everything?
So ironically enough, as we were shooting Set It Off, when Jalen came to Atlanta, he was just freestyling. Like, he came and there was a whole situation with the plane ticket, bro. It's so much stuff behind closed doors that people don't know. But he came later than expected, like at midnight. So we had to stay up to rehearse our lines for the film part of Set It Off. And during that duration, like, he ended up freestyling. So with him freestyling, like, he came with 2 songs, and one of them was Greg Pop, and he just had the hook for it at the time, but he just freestyled that hook for it. He said, "Bro, like, this would be tough." Like, as we sort of talk. So from Set It Off, so it's probably been like 4, 5 months or something like that. It's been in the
works.
Yeah.
How did you go about getting everybody together at the court? Did you let everybody know in advance? And
Man, so there's so much that goes on behind closed doors.
Yeah.
But I would say, before I even got to back home, back to Richmond, and when I was in Atlanta, I called everybody individually. Yo, I'm doing this around this time. Y'all have particular times where y'all have things going on this summer. I understand that people may have vacations, XYZ, whatever it may be. So I made a big group chat, about 25 heads. Damn. And I knew that some of them weren't going to be able to make it, but that's why I made it, is because I only really needed about 15 people. Yeah. If that, you know. So within the span of things, time go on, week by week, I'm sort of just trying to check up on it, but not trying to over text, because they don't understand showbiz. So if they see me, they like, bro, Mel doing too much, like whatever. Because these are my friends. Yeah. These aren't.
They don't want to be bossed around, right?
Exactly. So I'm not trying to, like, you know, egg it on too much. But once the time comes for us to shoot it and things like that, everybody like, they're like, oh, it was this weekend, or it was. I'm like, bro, like.
I mean, but they don't. It's not as important. It's not as to them as it is.
So I understood that. So like probably 3 days before, I almost had to cancel it.
Yeah, damn.
So people don't know that, but like it was like a 3-day turnaround. It was like, so we can get so and so. All right, let's get so and so then. Let's get so and so then. Within 3 days, we just turned it around and said, let's do it again.
See, I feel you on that, because like it's different when you're like the man with the plan. I mean, obviously you don't want to be that bossy dude. Yeah. But at the same time, you kind of have to have that kind of like. You have the vision. You have to be able to have the authority. Like, hey, you should do this. You should do that.
Be a little assertive, I would say.
That's why it's kind of hard to work with some people. Some people will like kind of know who you want to work with in situations like that, because they're all your friends. And well, it was like, how many of y'all? It was like for
the game,
almost
it was
20
10
of y'all,
people.
right?
For the game, it was 10 people, and then as far as the whole like cast, like people behind closed doors, like my boy E was there. Tolu was there to get behind the scenes, so it was about maybe 15. Okay, 15 people.
Wait, so you know one thing I didn't know. So you don't do the actual camera work, right? You just do the directing and editing.
Yeah. Well, Zion Jack, and
Zion Richardson.
Zion Richardson wasn't able to make it.
Okay,
he was supposed to be in it.
Okay,
but Zion Jack, he did the drone and he was on the second cam, and Cole.
All out.
Yep, Cole was on the main cam. So for shots that I was in, they were operating camera. Okay. And Zion operated the drone. For shots that I wasn't in, I prefer to operate the camera, because I sort of see things the way that I storyboard before every video. So that's something I also take into account. Like, I storyboard, I sketch out how I want each shot to be, depending on the type of video it is.
That's where that third eye comes in, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But I sort of make sure that they get the storyboards too, so they can have an idea ahead of time. Like, okay, this is how I want the shot to be. So for my camera ops, like Zion, Cole, I always make sure I send out a PDF of what the shot may look like, so they can have an idea. Because if I just say it, it may be their own interpretation of what they may look like, but not exactly mine. So
yeah, that makes sense. I saw you guys all had the jerseys, right?
Yeah.
You know, I didn't realize until I took a good look at it. They were spray painted, right?
For sure. So I ordered some jerseys off Amazon, about $70, and I just spray painted them. Like, I got just like, I don't know the name of it. I think it's called packing paper.
Okay.
And with an X-Acto knife and a projector, I sort of like projected my logo on them and stuff like that. So
it didn't look like sloppy or it looked like, if I didn't take a good look at it, it would look like it was like legit, you know?
Yeah, I try my best to. It had a little bit of spread on there, but I think that added to the aesthetic of it.
How about when it comes to not dealing with everybody? How about dealing with like Jalen's side of things? Because obviously, you know, you got everybody involved, but Jalen's the main man, you know? How was that?
So the good thing with me and Jalen is Jalen's like my best friend.
Yo, that chemistry?
Yeah, so we have great chemistry. So something I give him kudos for always is like he's always prepared. Okay. And he's such a good entertainer naturally.
Yeah.
That even if he's not necessarily prepared, he's great at winging it. So like the day of that shoot for Greg Popolice, like it was a lot of gaps in between shots that didn't have to be there because you know my friends are trolling and stuff that. So and he was hot. I know he was hot as hell. He had a wig on and a big ass
the suit,
the
right?
suit, yeah. So he was hot as hell. But whenever it was his, like, you know what I'm saying, it was his time to shine, like he was there and he didn't he over executed every time, whether it was him performing his song or his verses in the skit. So,
you know, when you go about, you know how you say you have like a storyboard, how you want to record everything? Do you record that in order of each shot, or do you do like certain shots that you can do in the same recording at one time and then the other ones? How does that go?
So it depends on the continuity of it, like what makes sense. Because I don't want to go from one setting to another setting if I got multiple shots within the same setting.
Yeah.
That's why I try to do all the shots that's within that setting at the same time. So sometimes it's more situational than anything, to be honest. So it may be like certain parts where I'm like, I want him to say this particular line in this setting for this shot. Yeah. So that's when you might have to change the order, play a little bit of Tetris with it. But for the most part, I try to do each of the shots that's in the same setting in that same time frame.
Okay. Do you think everybody kind of got the hang of it, or was it a little bit like stressful trying to get everybody to look natural?
It was going to be stressful regardless. I went into the video knowing that it wasn't going to be like, everything's not going to be perfect. Everybody's not going to be as focused as I am. Yeah. I sort of go into every video sort of like that unless I'm doing it with just Jalen. Jalen's always just as focused as me. Yeah. Or my camera ops are just as focused as me. But I sort of went into it knowing that it was going to be stressful, knowing that I'm going to have a lot of patience. Yeah. And I think that I try my best to do that. So,
you know, one of the scenes where I saw that kind of like look in your face was like when everybody was laughing. It was, but the whole time, Jaden was in the back, the most serious face. He didn't move a muscle. He didn't move a muscle at all. And I saw you. You look like, I mean, you kind of have to laugh in those moments because with your friends. But was that like kind of like a little irritating at times?
It was a little irritating, but it wasn't as irritating as people may think. Like that's my facial expression, because at the same time in the back of my head, like I'm enjoying it. Like I'm laughing with them. I'm trolling with them. It's not like I'm like, you know, just not trying to enjoy it the same way that they are. It's more so I'm like, all right, I don't mind enjoying it. I want this to be fun. Like I want it more to be a memory of anything. If I don't drop this video and I hate the way the footage looks, I want us to at least have fun doing it. So that's more so my motive. However, I'm like, all right, we got all of this together. Let's execute. Yeah. At the same time. So it's sort of like a mix, like a balance in between. I don't think I was necessarily irritated, but I was getting a little annoyed because I'm trying to direct simply. I'm trying to tell. I think I had my boy Jalen Jordan. You might know Jalen Jordan, tall, light skinned, pretty boy.
Probably not.
But he was the ref.
Okay.
But he was doing the music at the time, and the music kept on like messing up. So kind of like he'll play it and he wouldn't play. Okay. So just little inconveniences that happen. So within those inconveniences, everyone sort of takes that just time to laugh, say a joke, mess around, get out of place. I'm like, no, stay there. Yeah. And let's figure out this audio. Once it comes, we gotta be prepared because we don't know when it's gonna pop up. It might pop up out of nowhere. We just gotta hurry up, go. Yeah. So I'm sort of more so thinking in that headset. Jalen is as well, and I'm sure Jaden was too. The way he was looking,
he was serious. I was dying when I saw how serious he was.
He was serious in that part, but he wasn't serious the whole time though. Don't let that fool you. He was not serious the whole time.
I was with cameraman. We were watching it. I was like, yo, look at my boy Jaden in the back. It was funny because everybody was over here laughing. He's like, It's so funny. What's it called?
Hilarious, bro.
What's I gonna get at? How long does it take to edit a video like that?
That it's situational. So I feel like that video, it was only as long as it took because I started a new job and my job is like really demanding as far as how long my shift is.
What do you work at?
I work at this. I work in the warehouse of this like medical supply chain.
Okay.
So I do shipment back there and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And it's like Monday through Friday from like 12 to at least 8, sometimes 12 to 10.
Shit. So that takes up a lot of your time, right?
It does. So I had to wake up really early, and it's hard to, like, for instance, I sort of had to sacrifice the stuff that I do. Like, in the mornings, I, like, meditate, do yoga, journal, my little self-improvement stuff. But I sort of had to sacrifice a little bit of that for the sake of making sure this video came out on time. Okay. Or I've been staying up to about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, even though I got to wake up in the morning. But staying up after I get off work and I'm tired, I was like,
that's what you got to do.
Well. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I think this video probably took maybe, I wouldn't say a week, maybe a little bit under a week, but about a week. Because I like the footage. Like when I'm confident in my footage,
smooth process.
It's a smooth process. But the thing about that is we had to shoot multiple days. Okay. So the first day was when everyone was there.
Oh, it was 2 days then?
3.
3?
Yeah.
Okay, damn.
So that's sort of so I guess you can consider it being longer than a week if you want to put that into account. Okay. So the first day was when everybody was there. Mm-hmm. The second and third day, it was just me, Jalen, Cole, and Zion. And Zion wasn't able to make one of those days, so it was really, I think Zach came to help a little bit. But within those days, I had to just find little filler shots. Shots. So most of the shots where it's just him, those are the filler shots that I didn't have originally. Okay. So some of the shots that we took on the first day with everybody in him, I just didn't like. I'm like, I don't really like it for XYZ reasons, whether they was trolling too much or I just, maybe the vision didn't come out the way I envisioned it. Maybe my direction could have been better for it or whatever it may be. So I'm like, Jalen, you mind? And he's always open as long as it's like convenient. Yeah, and
it makes sense.
And it makes sense. And the video comes out. Sometimes it's not convenient. Sometimes we really got to pull some strings, but he wants the video to be as good as it could possibly be. Like, he wants me to be confident in it so I can put out the best product. So that's something I appreciate, too.
I got to ask, between Set It Off and the Greg Pop music video, which one do you like better?
As far as what aspect?
I guess as far as visuals and production. I guess, like, everything behind it.
Aesthetically speaking, I like Set It Off better as far as the aesthetic of it. As far as, like, the curation of the aesthetic of it. Overall, Greg Pop, though.
Greg Pop, yeah.
Greg Pop is crazy. Yeah. Like, I can't lie. Like, we sort of outdid ourselves with that. I can't lie. Like,
it was. I'll tell you, it was pretty fire. I liked it. I watched it as soon as it came out. It came out, what, 5 o'clock the other Friday? Yeah. I watched it. That shit was fire.
I appreciate it, bro. Yeah.
And I remember Jalen, I had brought him on, and he told me, like, yeah, this video's going to be fire. It's coming fire. It lived up to the hype.
For sure. He definitely likes Greg Pop better. I think that it's more so musically. Oh, yeah. He's gotten better. Yeah. So Set It Off, it wasn't his best song, but it's one of his first songs. It was sort of one of those things where he had a fire hook. And then as far as making verses, he was sort of like, he probably felt forced. Okay. Or didn't just feel comfortable into making it at the time, to be honest. But we still made something good enough to be able to put out just for the visual of it. So visually speaking, as far as the aesthetic of it with just the mechanic and auto repair places and us having jumpsuits and everything, like, that's sort of like, that's hard. That's fly as hell to me. But just the whole curation of just the continuity of the video, like, Greg Pop is sort of just, it's one of them ones.
It was a vibe?
Yeah, it was one of them ones. And I played basketball, so it was easy for me.
It was fun. Yeah, that makes sense. And I think I saw you on that first episode you did with Zach on Kennedy Culture? Mm-hmm. If I may be wrong, but I think you were telling Zach how you went about getting the mechanic shop in Atlanta. Yeah. So you said that was last minute. You said, right? You were driving by and.
Okay, so so actually we used 3 spots for that. Okay. So I try my best to not make it look like 3 spots. Yeah. So anyone watching, I wouldn't want them to know that it's 3 spots. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Right.
It looked like that auto repair shop.
It just looked like it's one. Yeah. So that was my job. So I guess I did a good job at that.
Yeah. No. Hell yeah.
So But no, I found the main location where we did like the little tire mountain and tire chair and all of that. Mm-hmm. I found that spot maybe like October of last year.
Oh, damn.
So when I was just in Atlanta, I was just driving one day trying to get my head off of things and just, I think I was looking for something. And I just came across it. It caught my eye. And it was definitely something I wanted to do for a while. Like, I just always been a keen to, like, aesthetics like that.
Yeah.
To places that look like that for some reason. I don't know why, but they just always caught my eye. So that's one spot. The inside spot with, like, the Bentley and everything.
Yeah.
My uncle's friends, which is, like, my uncles, too, they have a business out there where they do, like, luxury car rental.
Okay.
And they also do, they have a mechanics on standby, and they do, like, repairs for, like, more so luxury cars. Okay. So that's sort of what that was.
Was he willing? Was he easy to work with, or was he kind of like iffy about it at first, or how?
Oh no, he was easy. Okay. My uncle friend was easy. He was like, cause one of my other uncles, like he liked my uncle South James that I made a video for.
I saw the other rapper, right?
Mm-hmm. That's his cousin that owns it.
Okay.
So they understand music, and he from Richmond.
Okay.
Well, yeah, he's from Richmond, so he made music out here. They was out here making music or whatever, making music videos.
Yeah,
and we was like young, and he went up with that.
So he understood like how.
So they understood the whole. Yeah. So they when they see me, the way I was directing, they was like, yeah, Mel up to something. So let Mel work type of thing.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. That's good. That's
but as far as I mean to cut you off. But,
no, you could go for it.
As far as the spot that I found last minute, when I was going to my uncle's spot.
Yeah.
For the location, I just seen like a closed Michelin. Spot, like it was like a Michelin tires like little joint, but it was like closed, like permanently closed. And I'm like, red, black, so it makes sense of what we doing here.
Yeah.
Let's do it, type of jank.
Y'all had a hop of fans or something?
No, it was literally on the street. It was on the main street. It was just closed.
Oh, okay.
So when we went to, like, we had like a little maybe 2-3 hour gap, maybe 2 hour gap in between. I said, Jalen, after we eat, I ain't gonna lie, we gonna have to pull out that GoPro and we gonna get some shots right there. So
when you record, right? You record with those, like, I saw you have like a camera, and the Set It Off music video, I saw a camera. It's like a big camera, and they got like another screen on top of it. Mm-hmm. Do you always use the big camera, or do you sometimes use like other type of cameras?
Well, at the moment, I only have one camera. Okay. I had a camera that actually was really, really high, like, quality. For those that's into film, you know what a Blackmagic is. I had a Blackmagic, and it got stolen.
Wow.
So I would have 2 cameras, but I have one.
I gotta ask, how and when did it get stolen?
It got stolen last, like, December or something.
Damn. Was that like a big setback for you?
It was. Timing wise, but more so financially, because I didn't have the finances to cover it. My family had to help me. Yeah. So shout out to my family for that. They always, since I've sort of started this, they've always been supportive of that and tried their best too whenever they could. But yeah. So that had got stolen. So I only have one camera at the moment that I use. That big camera that you seen with the monitor. The monitor, it was that little small. Yeah. That actually broke. It just broke for no reason. So like, well, it still operates, but it's like a little attachment that just broke. So I couldn't really use it for Greg Pop. But that camera that you seen is the main camera I use. I just use different lenses. Okay. So that's the biggest thing. Because it's a good camera, so it's not like I have an issue until I get another one. I don't have an issue until I get,
When you edit, do you use like Adobe Express, or you use that software?
I use Premiere.
Premiere, okay. Okay.
Adobe Premiere Pro.
So when you have let's just say the Greg Pop music video, right? When you have multiple cameras, how do you get the camera footage to your computer? Do you get the SD cards? Do you transfer them? Or?
Yeah, so in cases like Greg Pop, at least, we had multiple cameras going. Like, we had a drone. Yeah. I have multiple SD cards. So I give everybody my SD cards, because I have probably like 5 or 6 of them. Yeah. So from there, all of the footage, I sort of just sort it. I have to take the time to sort it out, figure out which shots I like, which shots I don't like, and sort them in folders. And then from getting them onto my computer, I got a MacBook. So I have like an adapter. Okay. So the adapter is sort of like what transfer the files or whatnot. Okay, like a SD adapter? You just plug in the SD card? And, okay, that makes sense, yeah. What's it called? Moving a little bit away from the directing side. Let's talk about the clothing brand. Okay, for
I
sure.
see you got the State of Solitude shirt.
Yeah, State of Solitude.
You dropped that not too long ago, right? A few months
Yeah,
ago.
on my birthday, which was July 5th.
July 5th. Okay.
Yeah, I dropped it then.
Okay. How I read I was gonna ask you why and how you came up with State of Solitude, but I read the two posts you had explaining it. But I mean, do you want to explain it to people that maybe haven't?
Nah,
read
definitely, yeah, because it probably went over some people's heads, or some people just seen the shirt and just liked the shirt and didn't really. So State of Solitude was predicated to just bringing more awareness and bringing more light, shedding more light on the states the mental states that people may go through while they're in solitude, or things they may be in solitude with necessarily, because to some extent we all experience it in some form of a way.
Yeah.
Even if you have a group of people around you, you can be in solitude within your own emotions. So I sort of wanted to shed light on that. So what you will see is skulls. All of these skulls sort of represent all of the defeats or the battles that you overcame, or the old parts of yourself that you overcame. The flag here, which has a peace, a love, and rage here.
Rage, yeah.
So that flag is sort of like, like when astronauts land on the moon, they put the flag there.
Yeah,
so you sort of stamping that, like you stamping like the peace, the love, and the fortitude or the rage that you sort of had to have in order to get over these. So that's sort of what the logo is, and then I have locations on the back that all resonate with an emotion to some extent that we all probably experience or will experience.
Personally to locations personally to you, or in general to everybody?
I more so generalize them.
Okay.
So I would say I got, I think, 14 locations or 12 of them on there. At least half of them I experience.
Is it like locations like is it like a general thing like school, or is it a specific place?
So they all sort of made up. I don't know if I should turn around and show people because it may take a little minute.
I mean,
or maybe we could get a picture. Yeah, maybe we could get a picture.
I can get a picture and pop it up on the screen.
So they're all fake locations. So for instance, I have let me think, Mount Terror. So Mount Terror is just a place that I thought of because it's like a mountain of terror, fear.
Yeah.
So that sort of like sheds light on fear and what it's like to have fear or go through fear in solitude. So that's sort of just like, I just use my imagination to think of certain things that resonate with what we're going through. Like I think I have another one called Lost Spirit in New York. I'm not using New York for a particular reason. I just use popular states for the most part.
Okay, that makes sense.
But Lost Spirit sort of coincides with identity crisis. People not just being, they don't really know their identity or haven't found themselves yet or in the process of finding themselves. So I got many different like emotions and many different locations for that I feel like to some extent we all have experienced or will experience.
Yeah. I have a buddy that also has a clothing brand, so he tells me a little bit how it goes into making shirts. But I mean, it's like, that's one of those things where you really need that third eye. Because if anybody just really wants to make shirts, and that shirt right there, right, I see there's a message to it. The aesthetics are there. It's just, it pops. It's like, you kind of have to bring everything together because nobody wants to wear like you could tell when there's something with no meaning, but there's actually meaning to it. So
yeah, for sure.
How long do you think it took you to, like, for the time it came from the idea, the editing, and then actually getting it manufactured and everything? How long do you think it took?
Great question. I think that, so I vault stuff. Like I just naturally think of ideas. Like I said, I haven't really had an issue with creativity at the moment. So that's why I just vault things, especially when we go into Atlanta, having so much free time, being in solitude, not really having friends out there for real. Maybe a few, but not really a lot. I just had a lot of spare time to just be one within my thoughts, my emotions, or whatever. And my emotions lead to my creativity. So that's sort of why I chose the name Kid Rage, because that's where my passion comes from.
Yeah, Kid Rage.
So I think maybe in January of this year is when I came up with State of Solitude. It was more so like a spin-off to something else that I'm putting out in the future.
Okay.
I'm not going to say too much about it. I sort of just like things to just come into light, how they do. But State of Solitude was sort of like, it came after the fact, and I'm like, it makes more sense for me to put this out now versus later because it's a chronological order to things I'm releasing.
Like a storyline.
Yeah, it's like a storyline. For me and for anyone else following me, they'll see it. But January is when I first stayed up and made all of the designs.
Okay.
So it was probably like maybe 2 to 3 days where I made all of the designs.
Okay.
So I got more designs actually coming out with this. I released 3 shirts, but I got some more stuff like
within the same State of Solitude collection.
Yeah. So I dropped State of Solitude Volume 1. So I'm dropping a Volume 2 sometime soon.
You have a website?
Yes, I do.
Your website. I'll leave the link to the website in the description down below, and also leave the Kid Rage Instagram page so you guys can go check it out.
Appreciate that, my dog.
What's it called? So when you manufacture the shirts, do you have a go-to person? Or
I actually do. So my boy Corey, shout out to Corey. Okay. Corey also has a brand too. Keep Quiet. Y'all shop Keep Quiet.
You know what? He's coming on the podcast too. Yeah.
Shout out to Corey.
Yeah, he's coming on the podcast. Yeah, shout out.
So I actually had a manufacturer a while ago because I've been wanting to make clothes for a minute since 12th grade. I sort of been into fashion for a while. Like I'm into fashion heavy, like more than what people may think. Not even like I wear streetwear because I feel most comfortable in it, but I understand fashion for real. Like I watch fashion documentaries.
Okay.
Like seriously, but I sort of was just trying to find a good manufacturer to get the simplistic ideas out that I wanted to get out because I'm not really there into as far as like cut and sew and things. I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
So I just was talking to Corey about it because I think he was asking me about my beanies. I think one day I just seen him at a football game.
Okay.
He was asking me about my beanies and my beanies sold out quick.
Oh, really?
So as far as like marketing wise, like that's something that I sort of had. And as far as all of the resources, that's something that he sort of had. And we sort of just had a kind of conversation about it. And that's one of the resources he gave me. So I usually go to the one of the manufacturers that he gave me so far.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Who started the clothing brand when you were still in Manchester, right?
Did I?
I think. You said you graduated in 22?
Yeah. I had something of like I would consider it merch at the time. My best friend at the time, her mom helped me make merch and things of that nature that coincides with my brand or with my business, but it wasn't like a clothing line. Like now, some people would consider it merch just because it has the same name as Kid Rage and Kid Rage, but I don't consider it merch. Like that sort of dilutes what I'm doing. Like I have a whole clothing line, like a whole like
a brand.
It's a brand. So I think I really my beanie was my first thing I really released under. That was more of a brand thing, and that was last November. I dropped it out, I think Black Friday.
Okay. Who are like the people that buy from you most? Like shirts, hoodies, beanies. Are they friends? Are they people you went to school with?
It's my whole support group, man. Like I'm really trying to expand outside of that just to get my name out there more. But my support group, I can't thank them enough. So that's friends, family, people that may just know me, that went to school with me, and just follow the message that I'm trying to put out and things of that nature. It's really. They really support me every time I put something out, and I think that's something I'm sort of trying to get used to because I don't. Every time I put something out, I don't expect it to do what it does. Like my beanie sold out in 3 days. This didn't sell out just yet, but it pretty much sold out.
Are they still on the website?
Not really. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Okay.
If someone would ask me, I would say I sold out in a week, right? Because I only have this shirt, one left, in an extra small. So if you wear extra small and you want this shirt, then hit me up.
Link in bio right there.
Other than that, the sizes that most people wear, small, medium, large, were gone within the first week.
Okay.
So that's due to my support group again. But now I think that I don't be prepared for it to drop like that, for it to sell that quick because I just mostly want to get my message out there and at least break even. So I put a good price point on it so I can at least break even on what my investment was. But I always.
It's not too much about the profit. It's just getting it out there, right?
At the moment, it's not. Of course, you want that, but at the moment, it's not because I know that over time, I'm only gonna get better.
Yeah.
And I'm not always prepared for it to sell out as quick as it does. So now, with me having a job that I can like really be able to see the fruits of my labor, like now I'm ready to restock if I need to, and things of that nature. So yeah.
How long does it take to like if orders come in that you don't have physically? How long does it take for it to come in?
It more so depends. I don't think someone has waited over a week.
Okay. Oh, damn.
I'm pretty quick with it. So I take the time. If you took the time to purchase from me, then probably within the next mornings, I'm going to like take it to UPS or the post office or whatever. Because I have a printer, label printer and everything in the bags and all of that at my house. Like
really?
My store is my crib. So someone orders something, I go on Shopify, check out what they order, sizes, this and the fourth, bag it up, label it, and then whenever I get the chance, as soon as I get the chance, I send it out. So I think that one person had to wait a little bit because I had to go on vacation and I wasn't here. So that was probably like, they probably waited like 2 weeks still.
But even though that's not that bad.
Yeah, so I would say that. And maybe when I did pre-orders for my Did the Universe collection for the sweatsuits and stuff.
Okay.
So people had to wait a little bit for that. And I think that was probably maybe 3 weeks, if I'm not mistaken.
So State of Solitude was like not your last collection, because last collection was Keep Raging, right?
Keep Raging is part of State of Solitude. So
it is, okay.
It's sort of like a part, like a sub.
Like a spin-off?
Yeah, like a spin-off.
Okay.
So Keep Raging was the initial like design that I came up with. So that's why I put that beanie out before I even put out State of Solitude.
Okay.
But I knew that I wanted to Keep Raging, and so to have that skull, the skull is on. Like, I've always loved skulls. Anyone that knows me know I've always had a thing with skulls for about like, I don't know, 3-4 years or something like that.
It's like your signature like that?
Yeah, because one of my favorite movies was Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay.
So since I don't know when, I've always been into that. So within this collection, I want to sort of incorporate what inspires me, like movies like that, scores like that, and tour merch. That's why I got the tours on the back.
Okay, yeah.
So tour merch and Harley Davidson shirts and stuff like that was always hard to me. I love them. So I sort of try to like create my own, for my things that I just genuinely like, I try to incorporate it with what I do. So Keep Raging, I dropped the beanie first because people really love the Yo I'm on Mars beanie, that came out with the Universe. So I dropped the Keep Raging one just so they can have a more simplistic version of that, so they can have something black and white. Yeah. Because I wanted to really drop that with State of Solitude, but I'm like, all right, it's gonna be hot in the summer, so people not really gonna buy beanies right then, and people keep on asking me about it. So I might as well give them a black and white one and restock on the Mars one. So for those that want a beanie, I have some. We can curse on here, right?
Go for it.
I got a shit ton of beanies. Cause I sold out of them, but my manufacturer just blessed me and just gave me a lot more.
Oh, really?
A lot more. So I have a lot of those.
I don't wear beanies, but I'll cop one of you.
For sure.
Yeah. What's it called? Sometimes I do lose my train of thought.
When you having good conversation, it's hard for it because it's cameras in front of us. Yeah, so it's hard to keep the same. Because right now we just talking like this and that, not even here. You know what I'm saying? We just having a conversation for real.
It's just kind of like there, but it's like, I mean, it's not really affecting anything.
Type shit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I feel you.
What's it called? Who has been like the person, like I guess like popularity, the biggest person has worn like your merch or you've gotten it out somewhere. So maybe you didn't know.
Oh, all right, boom. So semi-recently, before I left Atlanta, I sent some stuff to a P.O. box. So I sent some things to AMP. Not sure if I haven't looked through all of their P.O. box openings to know if they have gotten everything. But I sent each of them beanies, like a bunch of them, like just variations of both of the ones I have. And I also sent them to Clarence NYC. You know Clarence NYC?
I don't.
You know Queen Naja?
I think so.
You know the song if you probably know songs from her if they've been played. Yeah. But Clarence is like, I'm not sure if they married, but I know that they've been together for a long time since we've been in like 8th and 7th grade. So they've been like a page and content creators I've been following. So I sent Clarence some stuff and he opened them up on his P.O. box opening. So I would say, and he liked them. Like he actually said it was hard. Like gave me some love with that. So I would say that Clarence is probably the biggest person.
Clarence, okay. Yeah, that's good. When you do the behind the scenes, right? You know how you put out the music video and then you release the behind the scenes? How important is it for you people to understand like what actually is going on behind the scenes?
Man, it's I would say that right now it's sort of tit for tat. I mean, I more so just want you to engage in it in any way possible. Okay. Because one thing I would say is that coming from a place like here, like Richmond, Chesterfield, it's sort of a small market for almost anything. So as far as what I'm doing doing something that most people haven't done to the extent that I'm doing it. Yeah. Like people shoot music videos. Not saying people don't shoot music videos, but I just find myself a bit different. Like I think I stand out. I think that I'm doing something that hasn't been done before. Okay. So I don't expect people to understand and follow what I'm doing just yet because I think it sort of goes over their heads just a little bit. So if you engage in it in any way, that means a lot to me. However, at some point it'll become a thing where it's like it's imperative for you to like tap into what I'm doing. Probably for like more time as I'm like continuously working. Like I'm not really like focus on it too much now. I sort of just want it to exist.
Okay.
If it exists, then that's what matters to me. Because at some point, when shit start picking up and I got emotion, people gonna be able to be like, all right, so what's his story?
Yeah, it'll piece together back then.
It'll piece together. Almost be like damn near a documentary.
Yeah.
Of things to come. Because I sort of like more so look at that more. Like it'll just be things. I just like creating things that exist that'll be timeless. So when I do get to that place where like I'm considered big or whatever you want to call it, people will be able to look back and be like, look at what he was doing when he was 17, 18, 19 years old. So
that way they won't be able to say, oh, he came out of nowhere. Like, no, he's been doing this for a minute now.
You know what I'm saying? I've been doing this shit since legit. So
no, do you ever like because how long has Kid Rage been going for? You said about since 2-3 years now.
Since I started when I was 16, so 3 years.
3 years. Was there times you kind of felt like demotivated, or you're like, no, I'm not sure if there's something I want to keep doing, or it's just has that always been like a passion?
Yeah. So I don't think that there's been like a period where I was demotivated by it. I think I was sometimes a bit direction like not directional within it. So when I first started, the easiest way for me to get on scene or get noticed was photography and videography. I didn't necessarily like love it, but I loved it to an extent because it was sports. I played sports and I was pretty good at sports, and I understood it. Yeah. So between that and just other things that I was doing around the time, that was the easy way to get my name out there. However, I knew that I wanted to get to something more. I just didn't know how I was going to get to that more. Like, I didn't know any artists that wanted to do the same type of thing that I did. Yeah. I knew one, but I don't know if he even still making music. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And we sort of, like, fell out of touch. But as time go on, like, now I got 3 artists that I'm, like, we've all had conversations. We've all been friends before we even got into this line of work that we do, before we all became creators of our own. And so we all sort of have a vision. With all of them, I got a really good relationship to the point where I'm like, okay, I see exactly where I want to go with it, and I'm directional about it. And I think that probably started maybe a year and a half or 2 years ago, where it's sort of like those like ideas sort of started sparking up around then.
Yeah, because 3 years now is like you kind of have to have that. You kind of have to have an idea of where you want to go, where you want to be. Yeah. Because you can't just free ball it with something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
You can free ball your ideas, but you can't. You have to know where you want to go.
Yeah, where I want to take it. Yeah. So now I'm really just focusing on executing as much as I possibly can within creating what I want, and just letting it exist. So that's music videos, short films. I'm into documentaries to an extent. Yeah. I'll be open to it depending on the situation. But I sort of got tired of people considering me like a cameraman. Like, I'm not a cameraman.
You're the one that, if anything, you're the one that runs what's on the camera.
I'm a director. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference. Like, so like, people will ask me if I can do this, do that, X, Y, Z, whether let's vlog for them. And I don't never want to come off as disrespectful or even arrogant. Yeah. However, that's not how I want to brand myself. Like, I'm sort of, when you think of Kid Rage, I sort of want to be a personality because I'm in front of the camera too. Yeah. Like, I'm sort of into acting depending on the situation.
Yeah, that's like the one to set it off.
Yeah.
And you did a few scenes on the Greg Pop music video.
Yeah, right? Yeah, a little bit. So shout out to Jalen. He been coaching me a little bit.
Yeah, you know, Jalen's gonna hop back on this week too.
Oh, word?
Yeah, and I'm gonna text Corey today, see when he wants to come on too.
Oh, word?
So I got for the next like couple weeks, I'm working.
I got about two other people that I can link you in with.
If you know
anybody,
2
other artists they good, and I got some stuff coming out with them.
Oh shit!
Soon, like the next how many months left? Like 5 months or something like that. 6 months left.
Of 2023?
Yeah.
Yeah, like 6 months.
About next 6 months, you're gonna see a lot from between me and these 3 artists. Jalen being one of them.
Yeah, you know, if you know anybody who wants to come on, bro, I'm welcome for it.
For sure.
Anybody kind of wants a platform to express what they do, or like kind of give their friends or something like a better idea, perspective, a little insight, then, you know, this is the place to come do it. Then I'm open for it. No doubt. If you ever want to, before you release a music video, want to promo it or something here and get a little sneak peek, I'm cool with that.
Definitely. And I'm gonna just let this be known. I'm going to Brooklyn with Jalen, and we ready to do something crazy. Like, he dropped God-Given Soldier on the 1st of September. Y'all tap into that. It's crazy.
I bet, yeah.
So, like, he's just getting better.
Yeah,
like,
he is.
Fast.
And he showed me a a snippet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch the one with Jalen I did?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. You saw that one he put out with 4 Dreezy.
Yeah, that song hard too. I was at the studio with them after they recorded that.
Yeah, Jalen's coming back because he's come back with 4 Dreezy.
Okay, where?
Yeah, when he showed me that song was good.
That song was hard. Yeah.
That song was good. Like the hook was good and the verses were there.
They snap. I can't lie. Yeah. So, but yeah, so for God Given Soldier, I'm not sure when. I don't want to put a date out.
Yeah.
Me and him have a date in mind, but things happen. But I am going to Brooklyn and we ready to make a movie. So
hell yeah. Especially out in New York, you can have any aesthetic you want in the background.
Like I can't wait. I'm super excited.
You can have like that vintage urban look, alleyways,
and that's not even
anything.
That's just me saying what's locked in. We got some more stuff. Like today, before I came here, I woke up at 8:00 in the morning and I went to scout another location for a love song for him.
Okay.
He started off singing. People don't know that, but Jalen started off singing.
With 17, right?
17, yeah. So he really got a lot of singing songs in the vault that's really, really good. That's really good. So we plan to shoot to something like that too really soon. Mm-hmm. Hopefully we can execute that the way we want to, but we got a lot of stuff. So him, I got an artist named Decembers that I'm working with. We dropping something soon. Hopefully we're shooting something soon. I don't know when we're dropping it, but we're shooting something soon. And my boy Kari that's like my best friend, but he's like really like that.
Okay, like, he's locked in.
He's like that, and he took a little break from music, but for a while now, his name is getting traction. Okay. Around here locally, and he's dropping something sometime soon. I don't know when, but when we lock in, expect some great things from the three of them and me.
Are you happy with the team you kind of got going on with who to work with?
Super.
Is it? Because I know if you're the director, do you ever have like certain times for each artist? You kind of
sort of. It depends. So I really try to be in communication with them as much as possible, seeing if they're putting a project out, or seeing if they're just putting a single out, or seeing if they just want to get a visual to an older song or whatever it may be. Because right now I'm focusing on music, but for instance, I also got short films within what I just want to do that's not music related. So I'm trying to also plan. All right, so when you want to shoot this? When you want to shoot this? So I can know. Okay, I'm gonna shoot my short film this time, this and the fourth. So at the moment, I sort of got months lined up. Like I don't really want to give time frames because I don't want people to expect something that's not gonna come in that time frame. But I sort of got months within. Like I'm focusing on this artist this month. I'm focusing on this artist this month, or weeks, or whatever. As of right now, because it's only 3.
So since you started doing the directing and you want to mainly do music videos, would you ever expand to maybe like, you want to be known as, do you want Kid Rage to be like a music video production, or do you want it to be like any type of production?
So that's the direction I'm taking it right now. I can come back on here a year from now, 2 years from now, and it can be different. It can be I'm directing just short films right now. I'm directing just whatever the hell, shows, movies. I don't know if I can. Yeah. But at the moment, I feel like there's more creativity and there's less restriction within music and short films if you want to be an independent creator, versus if you want to do a show, a movie, you got to go through a lot of different doors and a lot of different filters. And that's not something that I'm sort of like looking at doing just yet until I sort of feel like I got a little bit more weight.
Yeah. You know, let's just say somebody comes up to you, right, an artist, right? One of the artists you're working with, say, hey, Kid Rage, Mel, I want my music video to look like this and this. But you think, okay, maybe I want it to look like this and that. Do you take their approach, or do you put your, like, you do what you want to do? Like, how do you
try to mix them?
Mix them? Okay.
So what I try to do is I try to be as open to their ideas possible, however. So if they have a concept that they want to come up with, or if they want to run and gun, but they know that aesthetic that they're looking for, I try to listen to the song over and over again, and sort of see what I get a feel for, like what my creative flow is, sort of like what's going on up here. Yeah. And if we have 2 different approaches to how we sort of want to attack the video, I sort of try to mix them, try my best to mix them and collaborate some of their ideas with my ideas, and sort of let it be a cohesive piece, like a collaborative thing, because that's what it is at the end of the day. But yeah, I would say that's sort of more so what I try to do. But as of right now, with the 3 artists I'm working with, they would have ideas.
They creative minds too.
Yeah, they're all really creative.
That helps you out too, right?
It does.
Makes way less.
It makes things way easier. So sometimes they come to me with the idea of the video beforehand, but a lot of times, recently, they let me go. They like, what you thinking of? I trust your vision. I trust your idea.
And do you think that's like a pretty big like feeling or achievement for you, right? Because like, oh, they trust what I do. Because the music videos I've seen, you know, they come out fire. What's good when you have an artist, right? Have you ever done a music video with an artist, and the song's good, but maybe them as a person, the personality isn't too like
charismatic,
loose and like like I guess appealing to people.
Yeah, charismatic. So that's something I try to let people be comfortable with. Because at the same time, all three of the artists I'm working with are they're relatively new. I feel like Kari probably got the most footing within music. That's probably why he had to take a break from it, because he's sort of known around here when it comes to music now. But they all relatively new. So they're still finding themselves. Yeah. With them still finding themselves, they're still finding the way that they want to express themselves, brand themselves, whatever it may be. So that's something I'm just patient with. It's not something I don't expect them to be super comfortable. But however, I let them know that they're him. So like you might have, I think I didn't really have it in the behind the scenes, but it would be times where I'd tell Jalen like, yo, this is your shit, own this shit. Like, you're him right now. Like, yeah, I'm him, but you're him right now. Show them niggas why you him. You know what I'm saying? So I like pull them to the side and tell them that. So let them be loose and let them sort of express themselves however they may. Yeah,
because I mean that's what it's all about, being unique. And if you've had that self-doubt, it's like that reassurance, like, oh, you know what? Nah, he's right.
For sure. Like, so all of the artists I'm working with, they all got their own niche. They all got their own little, I guess you can call it persona and way that they like to express themselves. So it also comes natural to them because we all creative. Like,
because you can't really be in that line of work and try to force something.
You can't try to be too much of a character unless you're invested into it. So artists are almost like actors in a way. So unless you're someone that's able to do that, like become a character, like for instance, Tyler the Creator is great at that. He's able to become a character, or get into a line of a character that regards the way that he's putting out his album.
But Jalen's pretty good at that too.
Definitely, he's both. Yeah, he's both. So when that time comes when he's dropping albums and stuff like that, I know that he'll definitely be wired for that, like locked in for that.
What do you see, or what do you think Kid Rage will be in the next 5 years?
An empire.
Yeah.
So as far as like corporate goes, I'm not really talking about that. But within myself, whether that's film wise, clothing wise, like I just want to be my own little mini version of a tycoon, and have other sources of revenue outside of what y'all see, to the point where I'm just funding that.
It all find its way back together.
All find its way back together, and just really building that up, building the equity up in the name, and having fun with it within the process, making experiences, meeting new people, and when you like to the point where I almost want to have my own, like you sort of see how Cole Bennett sort of goes about his lyrical lemonade. That's sort of how I sort of envision it, my own version of that.
Because Cole Bennett is as big as the lyrical lemonade, you know.
Get what I'm saying? Yeah. So sort of, I would say that, like I sort of want to be my own character within it too. And Cole is more so behind the scenes. I would like to be an actor in some of my stuff. Okay. So I sort of want to brand myself in my own way. So I'm inspired by people like Cole Bennett because he has Lyrical Lemonade. Kendrick Lamar and Dave Free have PG Lang. A$AP Rocky has Og. Like those three right there has been some of my biggest inspirations. I take little things from them, and I sort of want to create my own version of that within Kid Rage.
Is there like since you already do like the clothing brand and let's just say like directing and film work, is there like another like sector you want to go into, or has it really been in your mind?
At the moment, not necessarily. I have some ideas, but I sort of like just keep them in my back pocket until they sort of. I'll tell you after the fact, because one of them I actually have a question about. Okay. Because you could probably help me with it.
Yeah.
But honestly, not really. Like I sort of have a lot of different interests. Like I'm really into sports heavy, so I'll always be into sports, and I'll probably invest something into sports at some point. But it wouldn't be like I'm really trying to brand that. Like that's sort of just something that I just do on the side, and if you know, you know, type of thing. So like basketball, football, and boxing are the main sports that I'm really into.
I gotta ask, right? Let's just say when you're a senior,
Yeah.
It's time to graduate.
Yes, sir.
Were you ever in that position where, like, do I want to take the college basketball route or?
Basketball?
Did you ever see basketball as like a?
Yeah, yeah. So I would say basketball. The decision for me to play college basketball sort of came about my 11th grade year, because that's when I stopped playing basketball.
Okay.
So I took like a 8-9 month break from like basketball in itself, like entirely. Me coming back to Manchester was more so just for closure. Like, I just wanted to have closure with the sport. Like, say for instance, you're in a relationship and you have a good relationship with you and your girlfriend or whatever, your boyfriend, for those girls watching.
Oh, okay. I think you about to say about the gay people.
I mean, shout out to them too. No, you know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to, you feel me? But within that, you have good experiences within it. To the point where you just like, yo, I just want to have closure within it so I can just move on and have my peace with it. That's what it was with basketball. I just want to have fun with it one last time.
That way you can't be like, I wish
I had what ifs, this, that, and the
four.
Like, I'm still gonna have that. Like, for instance, I like the last game of the season, I had like 30. I wish I would have had 40. If we had 40, probably would do the overtime. Like, little stuff like that. But at the same time, I had a lot of fun. I had great experiences with the team. Like, those are my brothers for life. You know what I'm saying? L for life. You heard that?
Answers for life.
You know what I'm saying? But nah, I would say about like 10th, 11th grade, I knew that I didn't want to play college basketball. But in about 9th, 10th grade, halfway in 10th grade, like 9th, halfway into 10th grade, I was going to use basketball to educate me in film. So I was going to try to get a scholarship from somewhere that has a film program. Like, I knew I wanted to be a film director from like the age of 14, 15. I always didn't tell people because people knew me for basketball.
What sparked you? Because you asked certain people, like, hey, what made you want to do this, do this? What was that one thing that really sparked you to do that, though?
To pursue film?
Yeah.
I would say many things, to be completely honest.
So it's just everything kind of piecing together?
Yeah, many things. So I'd probably just tell you two. So, like, I would say starting off in about 9th grade or so, I just started evaluating myself, because as good as I felt like I was at basketball, certain aspects just wasn't lining up. Whether that was like my confidence wasn't always showing up, or obviously I'm short. Like, I can't help that I'm about 5'7". Like, it is what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? So certain aspects was just like, okay, maybe that'll come, maybe it won't. I can't control some aspects of it. Some aspects I just simply can't control. But what can I control? What are my strengths? Yeah. And as I was evaluating myself, I'm like, yo, I'm creative as shit. Like, not to toot my own horn, but I'm him when it comes to creativity from a young age. Like, to the point where, like, at that time, I was just making like little edits and stuff, and people was like on Instagram really, like, that sort of got me a lot of attention on Instagram. That's sort of how I sort of like got some form of clout on Instagram at the age. So I'm like, all right, so people like that, let me dig into that more. What is that really like? So I'll just be in the car with my mom. She'll be like, hey, let's go out, get some fresh air, just drive, whatever it may be, go get some food. And I'll have my headphones in, looking out the window, and I'll start visualizing out of nowhere. Like, I just start visualizing different aesthetics for what I may see. Or if I'm listening to a song, visualizing a music video for the song that I'm listening to. Things like that. I'm like, okay, maybe other people may or may not think like that, but I'm gonna utilize that gift that I'm sort of getting. I'm gonna utilize that, and so that, along with being introduced to Arrow, so I started watching Flash on Netflix, and then after I watched Flash, I'm like, all right, sort of becoming diluted, repetitive, but it was a great series. Don't get me wrong, Flash was great, but I want something that's a little bit more like pure. So I started watching Arrow, Green Arrow. Okay. Man, when I tell you, I fell in love with that film. Like, Green Arrow, and Avatar, The Last Airbender, those two, sort of just cycle, and I just find myself learning myself and learning others within those films. And I think that those two, as far as shows go, really, like, made me fall in love with film. That and Harry Potter.
Harry Potter? Okay.
Harry Potter. Man, you missing out.
I should watch it.
Yeah, so Harry Potter, I was closed-minded into it. I'm like, Harry Potter, everyone is if you're not into that world already. You like, Harry Potter for nerds, this and the fourth, da-da-da. Call me a nerd then. Fuck, nigga.
See, no, I used to think like that. Like, I don't see it like that anymore, but I just kind of built that mindset. Where
for sure. So what happened was, actually in 6th grade, because I used to live in Richmond, but I moved to Chesterfield in about like 6th, 7th grade, like halfway through 6th, 7th grade. So when I was like 12, we was reading Harry Potter as a book. Before they banned it now because I think of witchcraft and stuff like that. Yeah.
At schools?
Yeah, they don't. You can't read Harry Potter no more.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, on God.
And
You can't
I
read that.
thought that was
no
like
more.
one of the most biggest books they have for
It
checkout.
is,
Yeah.
but I guess because of as it gets more advanced and they start the characters start maturing, it becomes a bit more like I wouldn't say vulgar, but it's just like witchcraft and things of that nature. Like it becomes, I don't know the term for it, but I guess it's not kid friendly for some people. It depends on the person. I think a lot of parents was like complaining about it.
Okay, that's weird.
So anyways, but we read that and I was like visualizing that I was reading. I'm like, oh, it's sort of cool. Like this sort of hard. Like I was actually excited to go to the English class to read Harry Potter. Like the hell. And then after that, we watched it. I was sort of mad because I think I had to do something halfway through for basketball because I was pretty good at basketball. So I had to do something for basketball halfway through us watching it. Like I had to leave for a game or something like that because you leave school earlier. But I made sure that after school, even if we was done, like I was like, I'm gonna figure out a way to watch Harry Potter from start to finish.
Yeah,
it just introduced me to a whole nother world of like Harry Potter. In my opinion, has the best aesthetics of like any movie series ever.
How many movies is it? Like 4?
7, but it's 2 parts to the 7th one.
Okay.
So I guess you could say 8.
I'll take your word on that. I'll watch Harry Potter. I'll watch one, and we'll see how it goes.
So if anyone watching this that's a Harry Potter fan, they'll tell you to watch Sorcerer's Stone. Sorcerer's
Stone.
That's the first one. Or Philosopher's Stone, whichever one. I like saying Sorcerer's.
Uh-huh.
That's the first one. That's the OG. But the best one, in my personal opinion, is Prisoner of Azkaban. Or you into sports?
Oh, it depends. I'm not too big into sports. Like I don't watch sports games.
You into competition and shit like that?
Yeah.
Then Goblet of Fire is the other one that is super hard. It's like competitive, is dramatic too, same time. So I would say either the third one or the fourth one are the best ones. But the OG is the first one.
Okay. I'll take your word on that. I'll watch them.
For sure. Let me know what you think.
Yeah. It might take. I heard they're really long. They're like 3 hours.
They long, but they don't feel as long as it because it's intriguing. Like whether that's the visually speaking. Maybe I'm just into the shit. So But visually speaking, and the dialogue in itself is really, it keeps me engaged. Into a lot. That's why it's so popular because it keeps a lot of people engaged. Like, and they accent sort of cool. So. They got like a little British accent. I know I just went on a tangent when he asked one question, but I'm passionate about it. So
one thing that actually when Zach came on here, that really got me thinking. He said, he was like, I like to get a feel of people behind what they do, like behind like the, like the directing and the directing and the clothing brand.
Yeah,
he likes to get in the inside like who the person is.
Yeah, so he does a great job. Shout out to Zach. Zach is like my best friend.
Yo, Zach. Shout out Kennedy Culture. Shout out Zach. When he came on, he got me thinking. Like we talked for like your day. It was like what 2 hours and a half. Yeah, like 2 hours 20 minutes, and like we were, it was like that was the longest recording we did, but it felt like really natural.
It felt really natural. For sure.
I would say like after I had to talk with him, like after he kind of gave me a different perspective on like things he was saying, it got me thinking, and but in a good way. You know what I'm saying? You know, snacks in the mini fridge over there. He told like get snacks, so like we were on it. He said it kind of helps break that barrier. Like
for sure. Like for me and him, I'm not sure who had the idea of it. I'm not sure if it was me or him, because like we always sort of had a mutual respect for each other, me and Zach. And then I think that when I was in Atlanta, he knew he wanted to get me on the podcast, so we got in contact from there and stuff like that. And I was like, I see what you're doing, like, you know what I'm saying, this and forth. He's like, I would be great if you can get on the podcast. So we sort of was planning I wouldn't be a good time, because I was from time to time I'd come back home, but whenever I came home I had stuff to do. So I was like, I come back home, like I moved back home in June. So it'll make sense for after or around the time that I put out either my clothes or a video for me to come on around that time. Beforehand, like let's just get to know each other, really chop it up, because I got some questions for you outside of any of that anyway. So from there, I think we just met at Rockwood. We had a conversation at Rockwood about everything. Yeah. Like about, of course, sports, because that's sort of how we sort of met each other, but through sports, through careers, life, shit with like relationships and everything. Yeah. Like we just chopped it up for like, I don't know how long, maybe like 3 hours. Yeah. And now that's like my best friend. Like we stay over each other's house. We doing this like 30-day like improvement plan right now. He introduced me to ice baths.
He was telling me about that.
I love them now. At first I was like, that sounds sort of crazy. Like, it sounds sort of extreme. But now, bro, I've been meditating for about two years now, so it's another form of meditation for me. So stuff like that, reading, like when it comes to the list is like 8 things on there. Mm-hmm. We try to achieve 4 to 5 things out of 8 each day.
Each day, okay.
Right now I'm busting his ass. Zach, step it up right now, cause I'm busting your ass right now. I'm doing like 4 to 5 days each day. 4 to 5 things each day. He makes sure he gets content done.
Yeah, I mean
he makes sure he gets content done, but we both do. So like if I show you the list, I'll probably show you the list when we done. Like content is sort of like checked. Like we got our names checked off for content each day. We on like day 17 or something like that.
I'll say that getting content done is a grind.
Yeah, it really is.
Especially like for a podcast, kind of hard to get people on, like work with them, date and time. Especially if you got like things going on. It's hard, you know. And sometimes, you know, like I was supposed to have Jalen and Dreezy on Sunday. Oh, no, I'm tripping. Today's Sunday. On Thursday. But I think Jalen said he was out of town and he got sick.
Yeah, it was a last minute jam when he went out of town because I was actually supposed to get up with him to do something too. But yeah, he went out of town. Yeah.
So, but they said they're free for this next Thursday. So it's kind of like you kind of have to work around things like that.
Yeah.
I always try to have like kind of like a last minute backup. Mm-hmm. Like so, it was like he told me that like around like 12 o'clock. We were supposed to record like around 7, 8. It was like I won't be able to make it. Cool. I brought in a friend. And make sure there's still something getting put out. There's still
something lined up. Yeah, exactly.
So, like, does that happen a lot with directing? Do you reschedules?
Yeah.
Does?
Actually, it does. It more so depends on the person and the situation. Like, I try to just follow up as much as I possibly can. However, outside of being a creative, we have lives.
Yeah.
So, we have work. We have families. Some of us have, like, they may have relationships or, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. Like, I had a relationship, like, not too long ago. You know what I'm saying, stuff like that. So, like, we all have things going on outside of being a creative. So, sometimes you just got to have that understanding there. So it's always good to have an idea of a plan B or a different way to attack things if the initial plan didn't go how you, like, envisioned it.
Yeah. How do you see Kid Rage? You see Kid Rage as, like let's just say, like, it's not like, do you see it as work? Like, okay, I need to make sure I get this and this done every day, or it's more like something you build, like a puzzle? Like,
yeah, I look at it, if you want to use that I like the way that metaphor, that was hard too. I would say I look at it more as a puzzle if you give those 2 options, because yes, it's work, but I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Certain aspects of it that's annoying though. Like, it's always going to be that. But I'm okay with the challenge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even like putting the word work on it because there's a negative connotation. Because if it's work, then more times you don't like doing it.
Yeah.
So even when I was playing ball, like, I was the type of person to enjoy working out.
Yeah.
Sometimes more than the games. Like, I just genuinely, like, love it. So it's not. I never looked at it as work. So I don't look at Kid Rage as work more, say, because now I have, like, with me working a job. I damn sure don't like my job more than I like Kid Rage. So Kid Rage it's going to be things that's going to be annoying within it, for sure. Like, I stress about it. Can't lie. Same way you probably do with this.
Yeah.
But I don't mind that stress. It's good stress.
Yeah. Yeah. I got to ask, right, for anybody watching that may want to get into either the clothing brand side or the film and directing side, what piece of advice would you give them? Maybe something you picked up from personal experience.
Man, I picked up a whole lot, so I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna pull out my back pocket right now.
Yeah.
I got gems for days.
If you need a second, it'll be edited out, so it won't even look like.
It's cool. I'm gonna try to come up on the spot for you. Give me like 5 seconds.
You're good.
Boom. So I would say 2 things. So for one, back to what I said earlier, create things that exist. Don't prioritize numbers, fame, money. No, because then your motive is fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, straight up, it's not pure. So you may not get what you want out of it all the time. Some people, it may work, but it's not gonna have longevity. You always want to do something and think about longevity within it. Live in the present moment, but have longevity within it for sure. So don't do it for that. Do it because you genuinely love it, or because you have a genuine idea or genuine inspiration behind whatever it is that you want to do. Whether that's film, photography, clothing, whatever creatively you want to do, you're a creator for a reason. You're creative for a reason. So make that the motive, but beyond the things that you can call superficial, like views, money, this and the fourth. Like, that's going to come as long as you continue to execute what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's where, let's just say in a saturated space, right? Let's just say like clothing brand or like music, on side music. That's kind of like where you kind of you're able to differentiate between the people that are in it for the money, or the people that actually love it and they actually got a talent for it. You know?
Exactly.
It's very let's just say you start and somebody else starts, right, trying to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. You got a passion for it, right? This dude may just want to do it, just do it. Mm. Give it a year, you'll see. He probably won't even be around by then.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Passion is gonna take you farther than whatever else other reason you got behind it.
My point exactly. So that's my first thing. Create things that just exist. Like create it so it can just exist. Because at some point, people will come back to it, and your whole journey of being a creative would be almost like a guideline or a survival guide for the next person that you look to that may be inspired by what you do. Yeah. Beyond that, I would say have fun. Like have fun within it. Like enjoy the process, because you, like you said, you don't want this to be, like we were just talking about, you don't want this to become work. Yeah. Like, yes, it's going to become work because it's going to be a business part that comes with it as you get better, right? Yeah. However, you want to enjoy those moments, because if you want to make this a career, you don't want to have to go to your career or your job like not wanting to do it. Like you want to be inspired by it, and you want to, whatever challenges to come, to just be challenges, not difficulties or hardships onto your life, because you got a life outside of that. Yeah. So I would say at some point have a balance within it. So finding it, once you find yourself, it'll be easy to find who you are within that lane of being creative.
Makes sense. I was actually taking advice from what you said with this, because I would say, like, because I work a full-time job.
Yeah, same.
So 8 to 5, so that every day I kind of like, and any other spare time I have will go into editing videos or recording. Mm-hmm. So I get what you're saying. It's at times it is hard to find a balance. Yeah. But there is times where you kind of, in order to actually get moving, get started, you can't have too much of balance.
Yeah, you can't. So like, it's like I said found a balance, because it's not, in my opinion, like me and Zach had a conversation about this not too long ago. You sort of got to find yourself before you find your career, because other than that, you'll be being directionless. You'll be like, well, I sort of like this, I sort of like that. I sort of enjoy doing this a little bit. Maybe let me just try it. Uh-huh. Find yourself, and that'll sort of come into like, okay, I genuinely love this. How can I make this a career? And what can I do to have money in the spare time to the point where that it becomes a career type shit? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So within that, it'll be many times, however, where you just don't have a balance. Like right now, like that plan that I told you that me and Zach do, if we wanted to, we could probably do all 7 to 8 each day. Simply can't, because you're not gonna have a balance. Like we were just talking about earlier. Like I work a full-time job now. I get off sometimes at 10 o'clock. Yeah. I work from 12 p.m., 12:30 p.m. I get off at 10 o'clock. Yeah. I got to stay up an extra 4 hours to knock out whatever it is that I got to knock out. Yeah. So I don't have a balance right now.
Yeah, but I mean, what keeps you going is, like, I'm sure, like I said, you enjoy doing it. It's like, I don't know about you, right? I'm sure you're the same way. If you're doing this, you're doing that, you kind of have to be the same way. But it's like, I don't know about you, but I don't feel comfortable if I'm not doing something
productive.
For
sure. Is that, and I like to, because it sort of goes in my branding, so I'm going to sort of use it right now, because why not? But that's the rage. That's the passion. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, right now I'm just raging, and I'm going to keep raging. That's why I keep saying it, because that's that extra drive. Whatever it is that I'm inspired by, or sometimes the shit that hurt me. Yeah. Like, just keep it a being. Like, that's a lot of my motivation. Like, the shit that hurt me, the shit that I'm resentful about, that I'm sort of trying to express myself through and express myself with, and learn myself within. Those things keep me going. So whether it's just me simply wanting to become a better creative, or things that I simply just, I'm hurt by, that I'm, you know what I'm saying, like using that as motivation to keep going into like still become the best version of myself. Because
it's also a way of coping too, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And it's like when you're hurt, or when something like that comes and hits you emotionally, right? Yeah, definitely. I'm sure you're the same way. Because like I said, if you're just doing something like this, you can't be too much of an emotional person. You have to be logical. Mm-hmm. Like when you're thrown off emotionally, that's different.
It's hard to pick yourself up and to be able to get in the same mode of being in this space. But it's easier when you find yourself. Yeah. Like sometimes I take checkpoints like within a day where I just be like, all right, let me take a second and just journal my thoughts down, or to meditate on my thoughts, or whatever it may be, because that's the only way that I'm able to get back on balance within what I got going on. And I read too. Like right now I'm reading a good ass book right now that's helping me like really gauge and find myself emotionally. So that's why I'm able to be at peace. And sometimes it's days where I'm like, yo, I'm not touching the camera or computer today. I may want to, but I'm not going to touch it because 7 days of the week or 6 days, the other 6 days of the week, I'm going to be. So let me just take this day to just be like, let me take this day for Jamel and be in my emotions. So if I have to, I can. Like it's okay to be in tune within that because that's the only way that you're gonna evolve.
Yeah, that makes sense. No, that makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. Is there something maybe I didn't bring up or something you want to get out there that you want to say?
I could talk for days.
I could
talk. I'm a talker. Y'all could probably tell. So off the top of my head, not really. Mm-hmm. If you got any questions yourself that you want to get into, I'm open to answer them or to get into a conversation about whatever the fuck. It don't even got to be about film. Man, it don't matter.